You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Saturday, happy Saturn day, and welcome to a special weekend edition of Transits Today. I was planning on doing this episode yesterday, but I don't know about you. Yesterday, I was feeling like I did not want to leave the couch, overly full on turkey and ham and stuffing and all the sides, all the pie, all the desserts, all the things. But we have a nice low-key weekend and some really powerful transits to talk about. So I figured I'd hop on, do a quick weekend live stream. We're mostly going to be focusing on the Capricorn moon. That's what we're feeling the most this weekend. But if you're joining me live, let me know. How is the energy feeling for you today? Someone on Instagram says it was a nice and warm Phoenix turkey day. Okay. Yeah. So maybe where you live, it's starting to feel like winter, like Christmas, or maybe it's still feeling like summer if you live somewhere like Phoenix. I am definitely feeling the holiday season kicking in. And I love how we're talking about a Capricorn moon on Small Business Saturday. The moon moved into Capricorn on Black Friday. Maybe you haven't noticed this as much as I have, but everyone is selling something right now on social media. Everyone is selling something. And I think, well, it's the time of the year, right? But also the Capricorn moon, I swear, like everyone out of the woodworks is like, here's my offer, here's my deal for Small Business Saturday, Black Friday, and you better believe that I'm gonna have one of those at the end of this live stream. But anyway, let's get a current check on the energy. The sun is in Sagittarius, the moon is in Capricorn, so we're in this waxing crescent phase of the moon where we're planning and preparing, kind of the perfect energy for a Capricorn moon, because not only are we preparing for this cycle, this chapter, what we're going to take action on starting next week in this moon phase. But the Capricorn moon is all about long-term planning. So looking at the end of the year, looking actually towards the new year, setting ourselves up for success in the long term, not only in the long term, but in the short term too. But the Capricorn moon really wants us to think about the big picture and the overall goal and how we're going to get there. Before we jump into today's forecast, I just want to touch base about Friday's forecast and see how that played out for you. Hey, Nick. So we talked about this on Thanksgiving Day, Mercury and Chiron connecting. Yesterday, Venus made that same connection. So you can see here, this is still what we're feeling today. We have Venus at 13 degrees, Chiron at 12 degrees, and they're forming this nice trine. And Mercury is very close by still as well. Hi, Diane. So this holiday might have brought some healing conversations, some healing realizations, maybe even some triggers in relationships. But remember, the wound is the crack where the light can come in. So Venus and Mercury in this conjunction made it a little easier to express our love, share our love with other people, speak loving words. But a trine to Chiron can bring triggers through just as easily as it can bring healing through. So just some validation for anybody who might be feeling like, oh, okay, that was a little bit of a triggering Thanksgiving or holiday, for whatever reason. Remember, Venus is the planet of love, money, and beauty. So all of this selling, all of these sales, all of the holiday consumerism that we're seeing might be triggering some money wounds as well, Venus being the planet of money. But there is healing to be found in those triggers. You might just be benefiting from the healing aspect of these transits, and if that's the case, then more power to you. That's great. But oftentimes it takes a little bit of a trigger for us to realize the potential for healing. Hi, Rachel. You never have to be sorry you're late. I'm always late. I'm just coming on when I feel like it these days. But I was thinking about that today, how leaning more into my feminine energy is just like feeling out when feels good to go live rather than having this strict structure. That's another conversation for another day. So never be sorry that you're late. Hi, Katie. Diane says, yes, it feels like a wheel conversationally, trigger healing combo, then another trigger healing combo. If that is not the pattern of life, I don't know what is. Keeps going this weekend, hoping it's a progressive pattern working towards something. You know, I think something that helps me, Diane, is knowing that every trigger, every healing conversation is moving the needle forward. Even if it doesn't feel like it, even if sometimes it feels like we're taking 2 steps back, it's always a learning experience. And even if it feels like the person on the other end of that conversation or interaction isn't as far along in the healing as you are learning something. So what can you learn from the situation? I've totally been there. I'm always there. I feel like, it's always like, when are we going to get to the place where we're fully healed? And the answer is never. There's always more healing to do, right? There's always more healing to do. So just know that you are right on point for the current transits. Katie also feeling that Chiron influence strongly. Rachel says, my partner may have overindulged this Black Friday, but that's okay. We haven't in a while. Christmas presents are done. Yeah, well, that's great. That's great. And speaking of overindulgence, Mike has Chiron in Cancer conjunct his moon. Mine is in Cancer as well. Yeah. So Chiron for you isn't playing a major factor, but it might be squaring Chiron, which could be really triggering just for this whole Chiron transit for you both. Yeah, Diane, good to know. I will take the lessons from these conversations, and at least there's that. Yeah, the universe is always teaching us different things, even in the same interaction, right? We might be having an argument with our partner, and we're learning one thing, and the universe is trying to teach them a different thing, which sounds wild, but we're all perceiving things through our own individual lens. We're all having our own individual experience, and our relationships just act as mirrors for those triggers, for those wounds. So I know it's really easy when you're in conflict with another human being, or you're not seeing eye to eye, to be like, this is their problem. This is what's wrong with them. But here's where the healing can come in when we say, okay, how is this acting for a mirror for a wound that lives inside of me? And that's where the work begins. And I don't say this as someone who has it all figured out or who automatically can go to that place in the middle of conflict, right? It's a lot harder to be like, okay, what is this showing me? When you're just like, like you're driving me nuts, right? But after, hindsight is 2020. So what are these interactions showing you? Hi, Corby. Nikki, baking today, enjoying my house, cleaning house, eating good food. No Thanksgiving, I'm in Canada. Well, that's okay. Hopefully you're feeling the grateful, abundant vibes from us down here in the United States. So just wanted to touch on that Chiron trine because we've been feeling that since Thanksgiving, and it sounds like everybody else is feeling it as well. We can always try to work on bettering oneself. Absolutely. I love that. I had this kind of triggering conversation with my brother, but I was able to work out that he loves me. He's just not ready to fully understand me, and that's okay. Beautiful. There's so much healing in that one statement alone. And when we talk about healing conversations, triggering conversations, Venus, we're not just talking about, romantic relationships. There is so much healing to be had in all relationships, right? Especially sibling relationships, parent relationships, anyone who's seen us as our true selves, who we can't really put a mask on for, right? Yes. So interesting being aware of parallel realities. It is wild that you can live with someone and share your entire experience with someone, and they can be living in a totally different reality than you are, right? But that's where grace and love comes in. And Venus is still conjunct Mercury, so it's still easier for us to think loving thoughts, reach for loving thoughts, all that good stuff. Okay, now I want to talk about the moon. So yesterday, the moon made its final connections in Sagittarius, a square to Neptune overnight, and then a square to Jupiter in the morning, I think around 11 a.m. So I love how Rachel talked about her partner overindulging on Black Friday. The moon squaring Jupiter, the Sagittarius moon squaring Jupiter makes overindulgence very easy. And I know I was definitely feeling that overindulgence on Friday as well. It's the reason that I did not stream live. I barely left the couch. I was just like, bring me all the leftovers, bring me all the pie, put on all the holiday movies. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be in this like indulgent state, feeling kind of burnt out. Like I overdid it on Thursday, but then I just doubled down and like went even harder on Friday. So overindulgence was definitely the name of the game on Friday. But then the moon moved into Capricorn right around 1:20 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. So now we're just talking about the Capricorn moon pretty much for the rest of the weekend. Let's just take a moment for the waxing crescent moon in Capricorn. It's the waxing crescent moon. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, it's all about the planning and preparing phase of the moon cycle. And the Capricorn energy just adds another layer of preparation for that. Capricorns and Capricorn energy in general is always thinking about the future, always thinking about being secure in the future. What does success look like in the future? My Capricorn partner always has like, if we go anywhere, he's got like a duffel bag with enough clothes for a few days. You got to have the water, enough water to last us. It's almost like this survival instinct, right? Like thinking ahead. We're definitely in that phase of thinking ahead, feeling ahead. And again, going back to what Rachel just said, like we're already done for Christmas. That's kind of the energy of this weekend. So if you're someone who's looking to, get your Christmas list taken care of, or maybe you're just like planning ahead for holiday gatherings, you're decorating your house. There's an element of tradition as well with the Capricorn moon. So you might be feeling like just leaning into tradition a little bit this weekend, decorating your house, like I said, or, doing something that you normally do every Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, whatever feels traditional to you. And today the Capricorn moon is making a couple different connections. The first one was at 9 o'clock, so we're still feeling it, but you can see on our chart here the moon forming this harmonious aspect to the North Node. The moon, why isn't it showing? There it is. It's that light blue line, but you get the idea. The moon trine the North Node, also forming a sextile to the South Node. Again, today's forecast is all about thinking about the future. It's very forward focused today. So the moon harmonizing with the North Node just kind of allows the path ahead to unfold a little more easily. It allows us to align with a future version of ourselves, with the version of ourselves that we are becoming. And becoming really feels like the word of the day. Who are you becoming? How are you getting there? How are you setting yourself up for success? It'll feel easier to align with a future version of yourself today with the moon harmonizing with the North Node. Corby says, yes, I've pretty much prepped and planned and taken care of everything. Now deep cleaning the house. There's an element of responsibility that comes with the moon in Capricorn too. We're a little bit disconnected from our like soft and fuzzy emotions. We're not quite as tapped into our intuition because remember, the moon is in detriment in Capricorn. It doesn't necessarily love to be here, but we're thinking practically, we're thinking rationally, we're like you said, prepped, planned, things are taken care of. We got our responsibilities down. Yeah. So the moon harmonizing with the North Node is the first connection. And then the only other connection the Capricorn moon makes today is around 4 p.m. Pacific time. So this evening, the moon makes that same trine, that same harmonious angle to Uranus. So we'll just jump ahead like 6 hours here and you can see what I'm talking about. Here it is. The moon at 16 degrees, Uranus at 16 degrees. You see that dark blue line. That's the trine that we are talking about. Also notice Saturn and Mars coming into a trine. We'll talk about that at the beginning of the week, but that's something that's starting to play out in the background, Mars and Saturn. So there is this, again, element of responsibility, duty, leadership that we're feeling just in the background as well. Now, coming back to the moon harmonizing with Uranus, okay? Uranus is the planet of disruption, rebellion, but also of technology and the future and innovation. It's like disrupting tradition in a way. So coming back to the theme of becoming, who are you becoming? How are you stepping into the next version of yourself, a future version of yourself today? And that might require you to do things a little differently. So yes, there's this element of tradition. What have we always done? But as the day goes on, you might find yourself stepping out of the boundaries of tradition, rebelling against tradition a little bit, maybe even rebelling against your own patterns or responsibilities. But in this rebellion, innovation comes very easily. So I don't see this as much as like emotional rebellion or aggravation in any way. I see it as kind of, okay, how can we think outside of the box? How can we do things differently today? How can we evolve? How can we innovate? How can we come into this next version of ourselves? So it's that rebellious energy that's like, I'm not satisfied with the status quo. And that comes through very naturally today. Expect insights and ideas about how to level up, how to evolve. Uranus and the Capricorn moon are really helping us lean into the future and think about it in new ways. So I really love the energy of today. It's just these trines between the Capricorn moon, the North Node, and Uranus, and future thinking, forward thinking, becoming are all major themes that we're feeling. Tanner says, hey everyone, that mirror convo reminds me of this saying, the Hathors like to channel through, reality is relevant to the state of consciousness through which it is perceived. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. Yes. And I love that we're talking about this coming off of discussing this trine between the moon and Uranus, because that can really help us open our perception, right? And the moon and Uranus connecting in this way can open us to insights, but that's a really beautiful lens to look through, right? We're all vibrating at different frequencies most of the time, and I can only perceive things at the frequency I'm vibrating at, right? So if somebody else is feeling low or sad, if I come in and I'm like, but the world is beautiful, they're not going to be able to fully receive that, right? They're in a different frequency. They're at a different vibration. And there's nothing wrong or bad about that. But being also mindful about how we interact with people or how open they might be to what we're trying to convey to them, right? Reality is relevant to the state of consciousness through which it is perceived. Tanner also says, I spent Black Friday with some mushroom friends. That's another way to open your perception, right? A fire, all the owls and deers in the woods. Ooh, now with the Capricorn moon, I've been installing solar panels to an outdoor shower today. Well, there you go. I think the Capricorn moon is really great for hard work too. If you need to get some hard work done, if you're like, needing to align with your duty and responsibility, the Capricorn moon definitely makes it easy to do that. But that sounds like a lovely Black Friday. Loving this. I'm about to go outside to finish cleaning up leaves in my gardens, working hard to keep them nice for springtime to start planting more. Rachel said that in the chat before I even talked about today being a good day for like hard work and our duty and our responsibility. But it's like we find nurturing with the moon in Capricorn doing these responsible things. It feels good to like take care of our yard and install the solar panels for the outdoor shower. Remember, the moon represents what nurtures us. And with a moon in Capricorn, doing things that lead to success are going to nurture us. And oftentimes Capricorn is associated with work, hard work, the climb, all that good stuff. Diane says, I've been having so many insights and changing my views on things, people. I feel it shaping how I will move forward. This has been for the past week, leading up to this moment, right? Maybe today's the day where it's like that aha insight comes through. And we've had a powerful week with the new moon in Sagittarius as well. So I'm excited for you. I think also, if I remember correctly, you're a Gemini rising, right? So this new moon was really activating relationships for you. And I love how you're talking about your views changing on people, on things, how you're relating to other people, really opening these insights for you. I saw a quote in a movie 2 nights ago that had been in a meme last week that stood out to me both times, feeling it's a message. Of course it is. And of course you text Rachel right away. A lot of deep insights. Beautiful. That's right, Gemini rising. So yeah, your relationships are really being activated by that new moon in Sagittarius. And with the moon moving into your then 8th house in the next couple days, it's like this deep realizations coming through. I love this for you. I love this for you. So yeah, today is a day of becoming, of success. It feels like in a lot of ways, like working towards success feels really good. And whatever success looks like to you, and maybe your definition of success changes as you open your perception, you open your mind, and the moon harmonizes with Uranus today. Let's talk about what's going on tomorrow, this Sunday. It's still all about the Capricorn moon. The moon will move into Aquarius on Sunday, but overnight, we've been having a lot of Neptune transits overnight, and I've noticed a lot of people talking about vivid dreams or wild dreams. I've been having vivid dreams, but then I don't write them down and I can't remember them, but I know I'm having them. So the moon forms a sextile to Neptune at 2 a.m. overnight, or 5 a.m. if you live on the East Coast. If you're someone who likes to look into dream meanings, keep a journal by your bed tonight. The moon and Neptune connecting in this supportive angle is just going to amplify our dreams, allow those messages to come through our subconscious state more easily, and, just really enhance our imagination, fantasy, things like that. But since it's happening overnight, at least for those of us here in the United States, when the moon connects with Neptune overnight, I always say dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. Neptune is the planet of dreams, of course. Then tomorrow morning, this is the transit we will feel most strongly on Sunday. The moon will form a conjunction with Pluto around 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So the moon conjunct Pluto. In fact, let me just fast forward on the chart here so you can get a full taste of this conjunction. Here we are. The moon and Pluto at 26 degrees in Capricorn. This is a transit that feels like, hey, pay attention to where 26 degrees of Capricorn falls in your chart. Is there anything else around there? Because Pluto's been hanging out there for a long time. And when the moon forms a conjunction with Pluto, it's like this awareness of what Pluto is doing in our lives, what transformation is happening within our lives. So the moon conjunct Pluto can feel like intense emotions coming up, or just an awareness of this transformation. I don't see it being super duper emotional because it's in Capricorn. So again, there's kind of like that limiter on our emotions, but your own emotions could surprise you under the Capricorn moon as well. So just, you might get caught off guard with some like deep insights, emotions, transformative data, whatever that looks like, coming through for you when the moon conjuncts Pluto. I think this is kind of this point where we're like, there's been a lot transformed. We're coming out of eclipse season. We're coming away from the new moon. Next week, we have the first quarter moon. So it's like continuing this evolution conversation of who are we becoming? And today the insights could flow through for tomorrow us to realize, okay, this is how we're transforming. This is how we're leveling up. Structures that we're standing on are changing with Pluto and Capricorn on this collective level. A lot of the patriarchal structures, all kinds of structures are crumbling and being rebuilt. Deep beliefs are alchemizing as well. Pluto representing these deep beliefs. So there's just this emotional awareness, and almost like we can see the transformation through a very practical lens with the moon in Capricorn. This feels more like a rebirth than a death. Pluto being the planet of death and rebirth. I feel like the conjunction to Pluto on Sunday feels more like, okay, rebirth time. Like, who are we becoming? How are we evolving? And then the moon forms a sextile to Jupiter shortly after 11 a.m. on Sunday, of course, Pacific time. And that's the last connection the Capricorn moon will make. So you can jump ahead here and see that nice sextile to Pluto to Jupiter playing out. And this is just going to help us look on the bright side, especially after this intense intense conjunction to Pluto, it's like, okay, we understand why we're transforming. We can reach for that higher faith and like whatever's crumbling is meant to crumble. Whatever's being reborn or rebuilt is meant to be rebuilt. So the sextile to Jupiter just helps us see the positive, see the bright side, see the silver linings in whatever is falling away and whatever is coming in as part of this overall transformation that we're undergoing. And again, it's all through this very like practical, like we understand things in a very cut and dry way, and we experience emotions and feelings in a very cut and dry way with the moon in Capricorn. Nick says, I'm mostly going to hang with friends this weekend, but we'll go dig the Christmas wreath out of the garage, put it on the front door. There's that tradition kicking in, right? Sure, that will make the neighbors happier. There you go. There you go. But will it make you happier, most importantly? Does it bring you joy to put the wreath up? Maybe just a little bit of joy. Like let yourself feel it just a little. Rachel says, I don't have my cheat sheet. The only thing I have near 26 degrees that might make a connection is my Virgo ascendant. Okay, yeah, so that would be supportive, right? That would be a supportive connection. Nikki has Pluto in Capricorn. Lots of, or she says, Pluto in Capricorn has lots of big companies being found out, and hockey, Canada, lots of corruption being found out. Yes. And what's interesting is, I don't know if anybody else has been watching the World Cup. We have been watching the World Cup, and we just watched a whole piece about how most of Qatar and all the stadiums there were built on the backs of slave labor or a certain form of slave labor that's pretty common in the Middle East. And it's really, again, coming back to what was that quote that Tanner shared? Reality is relevant to the state of consciousness through which it is perceived. If you don't know about like the underlying social political structures in Qatar, you might just be like, wow, look at this. I mean, that's when we first started watching. We were like, wow, look at this beautiful city. Like, you know, look at how new and shiny and pretty everything is, and then come to find out, well, there's some underlying corruption that's been happening. So the moon forming a conjunction to Pluto feels like that, and Pluto and Capricorn in general feels like that, becoming aware of the destructive patterns and structures that are holding up society, and the awareness is part of the crumbling, right? What do? There's nothing I personally can do for people in Qatar who built these stadiums, but my awareness and sharing about it is like, okay, we have to make sure that that's not happening, or that we like are all aware that's happening at least, so people can't get away with it as easily. Anyway, that's my like random political rant of the day. Try not to get too political on here, but I think we can all agree that building an entire city using slave labor for the whole world to watch is pretty effed up. Anyway, lots of corruption being found out in the collective. There you go, Nikki. Katie says, I've been trying to find new Christmas traditions to do with the kids. Going to make hot cocoa today. Yes, that is the perfect thing to do today. Making new traditions. The Capricorn traditional moon harmonizing with Uranus, the planet of innovation, rebellion. Making new traditions is a beautiful practice today. Yeah. Katie says, I feel at peace with the Pluto activation. Everything's going to be okay. The transformation happening now is so supported. Your sun in Libra at 25 degrees is squaring Pluto. So there's probably a transformation of self that's been happening ongoing, because Pluto's been, like I said, at 26 degrees of Capricorn for a long time. So there's this underlying tension and transformation you've probably been feeling. A lot of just shakeup happening in your life. Obviously, there's a huge transformation you just underwent, Diane, getting married. So that makes sense. Okay, and finally, let's talk about what happens when the moon moves into Aquarius. So the moon is void on Sunday from about 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time, about this 3-hour window. Full permission to rest, give yourself a break, take a break from that hard work the Capricorn moon is pushing us to do. And then the waxing crescent moon moves into Aquarius for Sunday afternoon. The moon in Aquarius is going to amplify the energy of innovation, doing things differently, taking a different approach to our daily tasks, but also to our emotions, seeing our emotions through a different lens, through different perspectives. This is also a time, the waxing crescent moon, when we're supposed to be kind of gathering data before we take action. So maybe the information that's coming in during the waxing crescent moon in Aquarius gives us a little more data to work with and a little bit more insight about how we can most effectively take action under the first quarter moon next week. There might be some information that comes into your awareness that you haven't even noticed before. It's been there, but you just haven't noticed it, and your perception opened a little bit because the moon was in Aquarius. Also, under the Aquarius moon, we just really enjoy being around people who let us be our weirdo selves, express our eccentric side. We feel really nurtured by being kind of weird under the Aquarius moon. The moon makes one connection. It's at midnight on Sunday. So really ending our week with this energy. Or if you are in another part of the world, maybe you're starting your work week with this. It's the moon forming a sextile to the sun. And we love that. We love a sextile between the moon and the sun. It's like our inner selves and our outer selves are working hand in hand, supporting each other. And I love the sun in Sagittarius. Where is it? Over here. Here's that sextile we're seeing around midnight on Sunday. It's like our inner selves with the moon in Aquarius, we're nurtured by being weird. And then our outer selves with the sun in Sagittarius allows us to be a little bit more free flowing and bold in expressing that weirdo part of ourselves. So I really love that we're ending the weekend on this note of authenticity and expression, and maybe even starting our week on that note of like feeling confident and supported in expressing our authentic selves and sharing our truth, the truth of who we are and how we want to show up and how we want to express ourselves. So yeah, there's a lot of practicality, duty, responsibility this weekend. And then we end it with like, we just want to be free. That's the moon and sun in Aquarius and Sagittarius. Like, we just want to be free. Now, starting the work week under both the moon and sun in these signs might feel a little rebellious next week. Like, I don't want to work. I just want to like be free and have fun and travel and explore and be my weirdo self and get paid for it somehow, right? So you might notice that on Monday morning that you're just like, ugh, do I have to do the 9 to 5? Do I have to do the status quo? But we'll get into that a little more on Monday. Just know that we're ending the weekend really feeling like nurtured by community with the moon in Aquarius. And as Diana's saying, I love showing my authentic self. That is a beautiful sentiment with how we're ending the weekend. Hopefully that'll give me motivation going back to work. You know, maybe. Maybe you'll be motivated by like, I'm going to try something different. Already feeling that, I have to go to work. Yeah, it's that time of year too. You know, we have holidays and then we're like, oh, it's holiday season. It's fun. Everything is like shiny and different around the holidays. And then we're like, oh no, we still have work. But I think, let me find out when that Mars-Saturn trine is exact. It's going to be on November 28th. So Monday, Mars and Saturn are connecting. And I think that will definitely help us get into work mode. Even if we're feeling a little rebellious, Mars and Saturn are like duty, responsibility, be a leader, put your head down. It's easier to get stuff done and do when Mars and Saturn are connecting like this. Tanner says, I've always struggled with delineating purpose, but my guides have been good at always reminding me that purpose can be simply to experience and express. Ooh, I love that. All the wisdom coming from Tanner, and it's 11:11 where I am, right as I read that. Very synchronistic. Yeah, absolutely. Our purpose can simply be to experience and express. And what is this live stream if not all of us just experiencing the transits and expressing how they're making us feel, right? I love that. I'll comfort myself with putting up Christmas decorations. My partner told me I have to wait until December 1st. Yeah, I think we're going to end up doing ours at some point this weekend. We're not going to be here for Christmas, but I still feel like I need something festive up. You know, I need to get into the holiday spirit. It's a beautiful time of year, even though it's like very much based in consumerism. I think when we look into the deeper meaning, it just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, you know, lots of memories around this time of year. So that's the weekend forecast. That's it. Lots of moon transits. We're really just feeling the Capricorn moon, trine Uranus today, and conjunct Pluto tomorrow. If I had to sum it up in one transit per day, that's how I would sum it up. And still Venus and Mercury pulling away from that trine to Chiron, allowing us to find those healing realizations and alchemize triggers into understanding. And that brings us back to today's affirmation. I am becoming my next version. We're very much thinking about the future in so many ways this weekend. And so who are you becoming in this next version of yourself? How are you becoming your next version? What does he, she, they look like? What do they do? What do they enjoy? And how are you honoring that next version of yourself? Because we're always becoming, we're always evolving. It's just whether we do it consciously or unconsciously. And if you're all here, you want to be conscious, right? It's like that's why you tune into this. You want to be conscious of your energy and how the collective energy is affecting you. So how are you consciously becoming your next version? Nick says, I normally only did the wreath around December 20th, but the neighbors have lights up, so I figured I'd put the wreath up for them. Maybe enjoy it a little too. And yeah, why not? Why not give ourselves a month to just enjoy the decorations? You know, I think we could use a little bit of celebration. You know, we deserve it. All right, let's finish up with a card pull for the weekend. I'm just going to pull one simple message from the Universe Has Your Back deck. Feels very Capricorn moon. Like we just need to get to the point, get a nice, simple, matter-of-fact statement to work with. So you know the drill. Now is your time to share any intentions, any plans you have for the rest of the weekend, any small business Saturday shout outs you want to give. Let me know if there are any Black Friday deals I need to know about. I don't know. I'm trying. Black Friday has felt a little weird to me this year. I'm like, it feels very like I've definitely participated and definitely, chimed in on the Black Friday deals, but I don't know. It feels like there's this collective awareness and transformation happening around the deeper meaning of the holidays this year. Maybe that's just me and the lens I'm seeing things through, but it does feel like more people are tuning into not just giving surface level gifts just to give surface level gifts. You know what I mean? You missed birthdays, but that's because I didn't do them. So let's do them before we pull a card. Yesterday was your dad's birthday. Happy birthday to Rachel's dad. He is such an amazing person, and I'm so thankful to have him. Let's see who Rachel's dad shares a birthday with on November 25th. Let me pull it up here. Your dad and Joe DiMaggio share a birthday, as well as Christina Applegate, Andrew Carnegie. Okay, all right. Who else? John F. Kennedy Jr., some big names. Amy Grant, all Pope John the 23rd. Is that the right? Oh, Jenna Bush Hager, Billy Burke. Wow, lots of Sagittariuses born on November 25th. What about today? Let's see today. Tina Turner. Tina Turner and Rita Ora and DJ Khaled. Wow. The Sagittarius energy is strong. Peter Facinelli. That's how you know it's Sag season, when it's like lots of people, Charles Schultz every day that we recognize because they have those big personalities, our Sagittarius friends. And tomorrow, Bruce Lee, Jimi Hendrix, Bill Nye, all Sagittariuses. Wow. But most importantly, of course, happy birthday to Rachel's dad, a member of our own community. And Katie's brothers was on the 24th on Thanksgiving this year, right? I guess not for you in Canada, but for us here in the US, a Thanksgiving birthday. Let's see. Love that affirmation. Tanner says, just envisioning having a conversation with my future self when I need to make a difficult or significant decision. Yeah, something I often write down when I'm journaling is, hold on. Oh, What do I say? Hold on. I have to be in that mode. I give my future self tools to succeed. Sometimes it's easy to get caught in my present self and like what I want to do in the moment and how I want to indulge in the moment, how I want to feel in the moment. But when I think about, okay, what would my future self appreciate? That came from like a couple years ago, a fitness coach telling me that she does that with like something as simple as taking out the trash, when she's like coming in from parking her car, instead of waiting until the next morning on trash day, she's like, I'm going to help out my future self right now and just do this now. So I don't have to wake up extra early and go out there in the cold. I'm just going to do it right now. So that's a fun tool to use, kind of a brain hack, if you will. Like, let me just help my future self out a little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's get on with this card pull. If you're joining me live or if you're finding this video later, let's all just take a nice deep breath together and see what needs to come through. Here we go. Breathe in and release. What do we need to know? Ooh, my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Ooh, I love this card. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. This feels very much linked to the conversation we were having earlier about, we're all experiencing our own realities. We're all in our own energy, and our energy creates our realities. So what we focus on will manifest. How do we want to feel? That's going to manifest. We can't make anybody else feel a certain way. But if we're like, okay, I want my household to feel peaceful and happy today. If we focus on creating peace and happiness in ourselves, yes, that energy can spread and maybe other people's vibrations will raise to meet ours. But all we can really focus on is our own energy and our own reality. So remember, my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. And I also love that this says what I focus on is what I will manifest, because we've been talking so much about the future and planning and stepping into the next version of ourselves. And I think sometimes we think, okay, in the future, this is who I'm going to be. But how can you be a little more like that future version today? What I focus on is what will manifest. So, okay, if I want to be someone who feels really excited about life in my next version, how can I be more excited about life today in this moment? What I focus on in this moment is what will manifest in the next, and so on and so forth, right? Katie says, love this. This is how I'm feeling. The energy I manifest is what I'm going to experience. We have so much power over our experience. And even when we don't, we have power over how we respond to the energy around us, to our experience. So it can be very empowering to just be like, what is my energy like right now? Am I happy with this? Or do I want to shift and adjust and step into my next version, which could literally just be the next version of you 5 minutes from now? Rachel says, calling me out. This girl's Mars and Gemini has been so scattered. I need to prioritize what I want to do. Thanks, universe. And how can you just do that in the next 5 minutes, in the next moment? How can you step into that next version of yourself that will continue leading you towards the version you are envisioning and that you want to become? Diane says, this goes with the conversations I had this week. I will focus on what I am trying to achieve and manifest. Can't change anyone else. Can't force anyone else to have aha moments. I've just realized in my own relationship, the more that I work on myself and maybe share what's working for me, the more open and receptive my partner or my friends are or my family is to the things I'm talking about. When I'm like, you should be doing this, is when they're like, I'm just going to keep doing me, But so comforted today. Rachel says, I pulled a card on Thanksgiving and it literally said, the universe thanks you and you are led to achieve your dreams. I think we can all take that. Thank you for sharing that. The universe thanks you and you are led to achieve your dreams. Very Capricorn moon. We're led to achieve our dreams, my friends. And the energy we have creates our reality. What we focus on will manifest. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Transits Today. It is Small Business Saturday, so I am going to share with you what's going on in my business, what's going on in my world. Transit tracking, our month-long group journaling container, is $88 through the weekend. We're going to spend one moon cycle together, learning how to track the transits, learning how to understand our own birth chart, and then how the transits are moving through our chart. You'll get daily journal prompts. You'll get different videos explaining these things to you, and then we'll all meet as a group together. But I also just added a bunch of new merch to my website, to the spiritual shop. So you can shop your sign on thespiritualjournalist.com/shop. You just go to astrology and then you can just shop your sign. So, you know, I'm partial to Virgo since I am one, but if you just click on Virgo, you can see all of the Virgo merch on my website. I just added some new fun stuff, some sweatshirts, lots of stickers and fun things like that. There's something for the whole family. So if there's an astrology lover in your life or someone having a baby, these can be really fun. And then also, along with all of the astrology merch, we have a few Be the Light and Stay Curious little things too. This is one of my favorite things, the Stay Curious onesie. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. There's no major sale, but it's Small Business Saturday, and this is my small business, and I don't talk about it enough. So I figured I would just share with you all today. If you're feeling like treating yourself, or if you want to add these things to your wish list for people to buy for you. I think I might. I also have gift cards for readings. I think it was Diane's partner bought her a gift card, but I'm thinking about lowering the price for gift cards for through the weekend. So I always post everything on my Instagram. If I'm doing a deal or anything like that, you can just follow at Olivia DeGennaro. And yeah, just taking a moment for Small Business Saturday. The moon is in Capricorn, so I'm like, okay, I guess I have to sell a little bit. Capricorn energy is like, how are you going to make money? How are you going to be successful, right? Oh, good. Yeah. Lots of fun gear. I'm like obsessed with the NASA logo with the different signs in it. That was like an idea that came to me probably a year ago. And then I was just like, I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this myself. So yes, Diane says he bought me the zip up hoodie and a sticker too. I love that. And that's why you married him, right? Because of the hoodie. He didn't even need to get you a ring. It was all the Stay Curious zip up hoodie. Just kidding. All right. Well, that's as much as I'm going to plug and sell today. Thank you all for taking the time out of your Saturday to be here, to chat with me about the energy, to share your insights, to share your beautiful energy with me. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. You make my day so much better every day. And I'm so grateful. Not only that you showed up for this community, but that you showed up for yourself. Every time each one of us shows up for ourselves, shows up for a future version of ourselves, sends light ahead, we are raising the energy of the collective. And that is what we're here to do. Thanks for being here, Tanner. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your weekend. I will be back on Monday morning to talk about that trine between Mars and Saturn to help us get to work and get it done, right? That's Mars and Saturn for you. But we'll break that all down on Monday. Until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the spiritual shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.